Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another ERG resource session. My name is Lola Adeyemo, the founder and CEO of EQI Mindset. EQI is from Equity and Inclusion Mindset, and I focus on helping organizations with building communities that work for them. So those internal communities could be ERG, BRG, whatever names, or even DEI councils, right? If you're talking about bringing your employees together. And every month we have a monthly call called All Things ERG, where we are gathering ERG leaders and DEI leaders, ERG managers. And the ERG resource session emerged from that, right? A need to have more insightful and strategic conversations with HR leaders, talent leaders, the people that are making decisions about these employee resource groups. And so I love to find thought leaders and experts around different spaces. And my conversation today is with Danielle, and I'm excited about it because learning and development intersection has just really been a focus topic for me over the last couple of months with encouraging leaders around developing their ERG leaders. What programs are in place? The ERG members. How are you incorporating inclusive learning and development programs into your systems, into your processes within your organization? So Danielle is here today to share a lot with us. Hi, Danielle.
Hello, it's lovely to be here. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
am the Chief Learning Strategist of Beyond the Sky Custom Learning, where we have the privilege of working with amazing companies around the world to create really effective learning. And I bring a lot of expertise to that from AI, which I'm very passionate about as it helps us really drive effectiveness, so effective solutions.
Yeah. And I think I was asking Danielle earlier a question. Are you an L&D expert leveraging AI, or are you an AI expert leveraging L&D? And I love the response, because I mean L&D has been around for forever, right? But the idea that there's so much conversation around AI now, and a lot of times those conversations are happening at this very high level, not very clear or practical ways. So I actually came across Danielle through a lot of articles you have around AI and the work you're doing. So for me, it's kind of interesting to explore that, right? How are companies using AI around their learning and development
Yeah,
programs? And then combining that with inclusivity, right? To make sure these
absolutely.
programs are still being inclusive. So thank
So,
you.
and with that lens, my team and I have been able to create, leveraging AI often, s- learning solutions or performance support solutions that are actually effective. So yes, we are firstly enabled on strong learning and development to ensure
Mhm.
that whatever those performance solutions are effective, and then adding in AI. And that can become important because there's so many amazing AI tools and AI examples, which I can even share, but they need to be done in such a way that actually drives results. It isn't just about being faster, because you could be
Right.
faster to create something that's not useful. So hence why there's that our team at Beyond the Sky has that performance lens of ensuring, okay, is this learning solution going to drive the performance that's needed? And then what are the best ways of helping to achieve that?
Yeah. I think I lost your audio for the last part of that, but I think we caught the gist of what you just explained. But I'll let you dive into that. And you did talk about mentioning some examples. So let's start with what's happening, what's trending in the L&D world, in the L&D space. Are there things you're noticing? Are there changes? Can you give us a little more?
Yes. So within the world of learning and development, there is this new 2 years, new increased focus on using AI for what I like to say is a level one use of AI. And I can share a model on that. So within learning and development, people are now using AI to do what they do faster, doing what we do now, only faster.
That's good. Yeah.
Um, maybe I will see. Can I play test and see if I can share you and share screen to show?
Oh,
We can
yeah,
see
yeah,
if
yeah.
it
You
works
can
or not.
share your screen. Hmm.
This could be fun for everybody to get a sense for, what's possible. I'm going to briefly share my screen and I'll share with you an example of this level one. So I'm sharing my screen right now. Can you see that?
No, not yet. Did you
Okay.
hit the
Oh,
present
no.
button? Yeah.
So what we're seeing within the world is there's this increased focus and trend on level one, which when the screen comes up, I can unpack that a bit further. So this level one example, think of it as this base layer. So it is the layer of doing what we do now faster. That's where most of the world is. And there's so much there that we can actually be able to support. What's really exciting as we get to level two is there is ways we can actually interact with AI in ways that are just not possible right now. This is just not a possibility. And that sets us up for level three, where there's a seamless inclusion of AI within what we're doing within our everyday world.
Hmm.
So, for example, before one might send a note, an email to somebody, imagine that the AI systems would be able to say, are you using, did you recall that um, Sam wants to, did you notice when you referred to Sam that you're using pronouns that Sam didn't prefer? Like that would be embedded within. Did you remember from our last conversation, you spoke to Sam about XYZ? There's that seamless embedding of
Hmm.
AI. And I've got some fun examples I've shared at different points in time that really support that. So it's just a fun world to see what's possible. And then my team has been fortunate to play a lot within the level two examples, which allow people to actually interact, doing what you can't now with AI at scale. So, for example, practicing having a difficult conversation, practicing, getting coaching support and advice. There's really some amazing ways that this can now be enabled and supported. I can put some of
Yeah.
those examples into the chat after.
Yeah, you can put a link. Did you
Yeah,
did
now.
you try sharing your screen and
Yeah, I think
confirm?
it's not gonna do that. So I'm gonna put some of this
Okay.
stuff into the chat.
Yeah, you can put a link in the chat,
Yeah,
and then people can access it, even watching this on replay,
yeah,
if they're
exactly.
not watching it live. So thank you, Danielle. And I think it's exciting. I mean, I don't count myself as early adopter of technology, even though my friends argue that I might be. I think of myself as a cautious adopter of technology, because whenever there's something new, there's trend, I just always think of all the million things that is somebody thinking about this? Is somebody
Right?
really filtering all of these through a lens that is inclusive? And so I like your description of it in levels, right? Going faster. Everybody's talking about saving time, right? Going faster and saving time is great, but we have to think beyond that. We have to think about effectivity, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That
yeah,
becomes that effectiveness becomes there's just watch out because there's so many different tools that can be used to speed up what we're doing now faster, which is phenomenal. And that's,
mm,
where we should be. But it isn't just about speed. That's the key thing. This is not just doing faster what's not effective. And
right.
that's overall what I'm seeing within the learning and development space. People are starting to play within using AI tools, but they're not necessarily driving the outcomes that are needed. And as a result of that, there's been slower adoption than one might otherwise expect.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have some examples on how organizations have started to leverage AI in the L&D space?
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of really fun work actually, being able to actually have safe conversation practice. So imagine a situation where you're having a difficult conversation and it's a sensitive conversation. And maybe you are embarrassed to have this conversation, which we often see somewhat coming through within the DE&I work that we've supported in the past. People want just this a very anonymous way to, but yet they also need personalized
The
feedback,
personal.
personalized
Yeah.
help. So we've developed AI interactions that allow you to practice having the safe conversation within a safe space, and they actually have the AI responds to you as if it's your direct report in this case. And so you can have the safe practice, and then it evaluates what was effective and what wasn't effective. So that's a
Yeah.
way of enabling from a learning standpoint, actually using AI in new ways, these level two ways.
Yeah. And I think that's great. So thinking of a leader, a manager, somebody at a higher level trying to have a conversation, and just something that comes to mind from that is the feedback from the actual employee, because a lot of times, what the leader thinks is safe, does the employee still feel safe in
Yeah,
that space, right?
yeah, it's so true. I'm sure I'll share this example with you, which is also thoughtful if you're thinking about even use for one's own professional development. So I'm sharing my screen.
Okay,
I've disabled
I
audio
see it
though.
up now. Yeah.
And this is set up as an AI coaching situation. So imagine we set this up as a particular scenario for learning purposes, but even imagine yourself as an ERG leader and you're yourself are needing coaching support. Like, how do I handle, like, what do I do in this situation? We set this up so this learning interaction helps guide you. In this case, I set up the scenario to be managing challenging executives in a meeting. And the AI is asking me, and every single time it's asked me different questions. Can you identify specific behaviors or actions that make them challenging for you to manage during the meetings? Um, maybe I'll put down, we can put down whatever we want. Maybe they don't look me in the eye when I speak. Um, I don't know. That makes it uncomfortable. So that was me in a sales situation. So
Yeah.
how important, then it's asking me 100% based on what my response is. How important is if you'd have direct eye contact with them during the meetings? This is that only is saying that because of what I put in the first time.
Right.
That's otherwise I'm not being understood.
Or at least I feel like I'm not understood. Yeah.
Yeah. So what strategies can you use to make eye contact with them, even in challenging situations? So every time it just progresses. And what's interesting, this particular one we set up to be a coaching scenario. So it's helping me think. It's helping me think as a coach would. And it every single time it's just a completely different response. So
Yeah.
that's a really fun way of using AI as this level two interaction. Um, in
And this is
contrast,
something that will be developed as a model that people can
yeah,
self leverage. Like I can go in,
exactly.
log in, and use it.
Yeah. And this is it's the thinking of that. I mean, AI can be used for so many new ways, these level two applications that just weren't possible before. So these are ways we can think about how to use AI. And it's mind opening to think that there's all these different types of interactions. In contrast, this example here, I'm going to probably, there's audio. I'm going to skip. So it
Oh,
would otherwise,
I can
it
hear
would,
the audio.
you didn't, yeah, I skipped the audio. So
Okay.
he was telling me about the situation about there's going through job changes, and the avatar keeps speaking about the fact that me as his manager, I promised him a raise. So I'm going to keep my word, right? So this is a really difficult, challenging conversation. So the AI avatar is talking to me, and then I need to respond carefully, I think, or maybe not carefully. Um, no raises right now. So this is,
Are you typing it?
yeah. So I typed it, and then now there's audio actually, which I disabled right now, that I can hear.
Oh, I
So it's
wonder if.
actually having this conversation.
Oh, okay. I think we're still on the page with the objective is to obtain advice from your coach to help
Oh,
manage challenging
okay.
senior executives. Yeah.
That is okay. Here we go. Ah, cool. So we didn't
Okay.
miss that.
Yeah.
So
Change
Thanks.
them.
imagine there is
I
this
know the
apathetic,
organization is going.
and then I'm going to maybe I'll get you, Lola, to say how you might respond to a direct report who is asking for a raise, but because you promised a raise, yet there's the company's restructuring. How might you respond?
And so this is a question for me right now.
Yeah, I mean, we could be flippant with it,
Ah,
or we can be empathetic.
I know. I was like, so,
If we're flippant, it's
then
telling
let's
me that
see.
this
Yeah.
audio right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're having this conversation.
So waiting for
So
the raise, especially.
his voice is very like empathetically talking in my ear about what could we do different? What could we
Remember to be empathic. Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm for the purpose of this dot for purpose of
I know. I was going to say, oh, that sounded mean, but you were trying to use that as an
extremely
example that, yeah, if you say
dreadful.
that, then here I can sort of
Yeah.
Thanks.
help you see why that is wrong or that is not a good approach.
No. So instead, what might you say is a better approach?
I absolutely agree. I don't know. First, affirming that
Mhm.
you've been here a while and I'm really pushing for these. I think you deserve that raise. I'm going to do everything in my power to make that happen. Unfortunately, it might not be happening this quarter.
Okay, let's see if we can get a different response. And again, the point is showing that every single time it's different. Now the
Right.
voice is recounting. I
Mhm.
audio, but I can hear the voice.
Thank you for understanding and for your support. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, different now. It's much nicer. What might you
I
say?
appreciate your headbutt to advocate for me. Exactly. I hope we can revisit soon. Is there anything else I can do to strengthen my case? Or any feedback you can provide to help me continue to excel in my role? Okay. See, so this immediately like just shows that
Mhm.
I mean, working in an organization, you know that the manager doesn't always have, that 100% power to give a
Absolutely.
raise
Yeah.
immediately. But acknowledging that you deserve it, I'm going to, I'm putting you up for it, and I'll do everything in my power to help you. Then puts the employee in also a much more receptive
Yeah.
mood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this allows for that practice. And then what we'll see here, yay, look at that. So your response is a lot better. We have an 8 rating.
So, this is a learning, a development plan for somebody in a people leadership role, helping them to be able to navigate conversations in a more inclusive and empathetic way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as a use case, it just is one example of what could be a myriad of use cases to practice safe conversations or to get personalized coaching advice, or even if somebody wanted to ask an expert, you can easily set it up like that. The point of this is these are all things that we can't do without AI at scale. And yet they are effective. Like they're designed firstly with solving what the use case is in mind, and then designed to have AI to support what's not otherwise possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. So I guess we have about 10 minutes more. I know this is just a taste
Yeah.
of everything you have going on, and I would definitely encourage, people that are listening, if there are scenarios you're trying to explore, especially around your learning and development programs, please reach out to Danielle. Check out Beyond the Sky and see the work they're doing. Um, I think this is a great area to leverage AI when it comes to learning and development and the kind of trainings and programs that we are putting in place within our organization. So I wanted to kind of move to sort of like the last part of our conversation, which is again, so um, I work a lot with companies and their ERGs and ERG leaders, and there's that gap, right? So a lot of ERG leaders and ERG members are more of, early career, mid-career professionals, right? And so there's still that disconnect. There's still a lot of putting ERGs in the buckets of DEI programs, maybe social programs, as opposed to seeing an opportunity when it comes to employee engagement and learning and development. And so when you are looking, well, are there metrics? Maybe that's the first question. When you're looking at successful AI learning initiatives, do we have metrics that you would advise people to keep an eye on in order to like measure the effectiveness and the business impact? Do you have any information about around metrics and measures?
So if I would be the lens of an ERG leader, there's so many great ways that I could use AI right now to enhance my own productivity. Whether that is using AI to analyze the data that I have
Mhm.
within my research group, or whether it is using AI to help me better better create messages that
Mhm.
resonate with my audience. One thing very dir and thirdly, it's like showcasing what's been useful. One thing that we found great success on is using AI, generative AI, to create images. We needed to represent images of a particular ethnic group, an indigenous ethnic group, and the stock images are appalling. Like it was awful, like awful. So the only solution was with AI. We were able to combine pictures to create people that was thoughtfully created and that was accepted. So
Mhm.
acceptable images that were not in any way offensive. And by showcasing some of those examples, and then also going back to metrics, showcasing the time savings and the money savings, because the
Okay.
alternative to that was a photo shoot. These images don't otherwise exist. How can we create representative and reflective and thoughtful learning without showing our learners? So
Right.
the use case for that became a significant one on time and cost savings, like it is with many generative AI solutions. And I would say I would call to leaders to be able to use AI, this that level one that I spoke about, where it's time and cost savings, knowing that what you're doing is meeting business needs, and then be able to showcase those time and cost savings.
Right. Right. Okay. So as ERGs continue to emerge in the last couple of years, as learning platforms, learning models, looking for quick ways to develop programs, and then AI is coming into the picture. Is there recommendations from your side on what people need to keep an eye for as we integrate AI into learning?
Yeah. So some things to keep an eye on is what's already here and then what's coming. So in particular, the big focus has been on generative AI, and there's so many more details I could speak to about that. But at a high level, it's being aware that we can create videos from prompts. We can do that now. I've done that. We can create avatars. That's now. So that's video. I'm speaking, but avatars. I'm speaking animated videos, voice. Um, and with all these AI tools, there's this understanding that's still needed to make sure that things are accurately landing properly. As a specific example, I got my 12-year-old daughter to create a video using AI characters. Great, it's huge time savings. It was a video I was going to demo at a conference, and she lacked the awareness to realize that the voices she chose didn't match the characters. So it was like and so it's as people said, it's like a college a college student with a ethnic older woman's voice. But there's no checks otherwise on that. Like these are at the current state of tools, it's down to still the importance of enterprise resource groups to be able to um, help foster the right thinking in support with everything else in the organization to catch things like that, because the AI tools in themselves, they are just tools. So
Yeah.
I would say to everybody is just be aware of what's there, and I would encourage people to play test, to try new things themselves.
Yeah, and that play test too. Maybe that's also an opportunity. And I wrote an article this week about AI and HR and some of the roundtable conversations we've been having over the last couple of weeks. Is if you are implementing anything AI with your organization, ERGs can help. ERGs can provide that input. So I don't know, are you seeing a lot of testing? I think that's a huge opportunity because ERGs exist for part of that is to be the voice, to give you
Hmm.
feedback and insights that you might be overlooking, especially with
Hmm.
a lack of diversity at the leadership level, right? Are you seeing companies leveraging ERGs as sort of
I'm seeing
testing
that with
ground?
some groups, like as I mentioned, having creating so like creating generating images that are culturally appropriate so that I mean, I hope other organizations as well have the right thoughts in place to make sure that those representations are landing well. And I would say there is a clear opportunity now for ERGs to support, given all of what is otherwise automatically happening with AI tools. Just those simple examples I gave you of the video my daughter created or the images that we generated. Like those are just a few of the many examples of what's happening there, where ERGs are so important to ensure there's the added look.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that also comes down to when we talk about how the role of ERGs are evolving. It's becoming seen more as a strategic partnership between the
Absolutely.
organization and their employees. So how are you leveraging these groups? Right? It's not just giving them a budget or no budget and asking them to plan programs for themselves. It's incorporating them into your product design, your systems design, and a way to get them up to speed, develop their career. I mean, having the learning and development department be working in partnership with these groups, these
Oh,
leaders, and then
critical.
managers as well.
So critical. There's such a strong role for ERGs, especially continuing with the advancement of AI technology.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know we're just getting started with AI. I'm excited, but I'm also cautious, and I'm also like very aware that there's so many opportunities to make a mess of this. But um, grateful. I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with people around how they are being very thoughtful about these and some of the opportunities, and I think sharing case studies, sharing examples, like what you're finding, what you're seeing. Also leveraging partnerships like your organization. I love the fact that you're focused on L&D, but you're leveraging AI a lot. So there's a good synergy right there that I really admire. And yeah, so is there any last word, last thoughts as you think about the people listening? Two parts of these. So there are ERG leaders. There are people that are developing programs. There are people that are looking for career development trainings, right? That they ERG leaders step into their roles out of passion. A lot of times, it's not like the resources are all in place, but they also have a different professional role within the organization. So, do you have any feedback for ERG leaders? And then a second part of this would be for corporate leaders in the L&D space, HR talent leaders that are trying to incorporate AI in the people side of their business.
Yeah, I would say for everybody actually, it's the idea of getting started. So I so strongly encourage people to play test, and even while your own organization might not allow that, then there's opportunities for your own personal life, so not work related, to use your own device and to be able to try something yourself, so you're comfortable with creating images or creating videos or just using generative AI and text some things. So that enables ERG leaders to be able to say to the organization, yes, I have some expertise and I can help be a part of these strategic conversations. And then
Yeah.
for the organizations themselves, I also echo the idea of playtesting and being aware that there still is a need currently in this day and age for a strong role of a human in the loop. So the role of that human there, the ERG groups is still so critical.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Danielle. And it's been great chatting with you. I um, I'm looking forward to kind of following the work that you're doing at Beyond the Sky. And for anyone interested, hopefully connect with Danielle and set up some time for a demo, share. I know the end of the year is also kind of everybody's thinking of what they want to do, what they want to revise for the new year. So perfect timing to start these conversations and explore what you can improve on
Yeah.
within your organization.
And actually, I have a prompts template as people are getting started that it could be of value. So maybe we'll add that to the show notes. It's just a free prompt
Okay.
template. It helps
Okay.
that play testing, as I mentioned.
Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you so much. It's been great chatting with you. Appreciate the insights and the advice, and looking forward to talking some more.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.